Has Congress stolen from Social Security? This is a question that a lot of you have been asking in the comments to some of my videos. And so I decided to dig in and get you the truth. I have all the receipts to show you, and the result may surprise you what I found regarding Congress and Social Security. So here's what I'm going to talk about. A lot of you have been commenting, especially on my previous video, that Congress should put back the money that it has stolen from Social Security, and that trillions of dollars have been stolen to fund things that are not central to Social Security. So I decided to dig in and find out what's happening with this story. And then I'm also going to share with you the Social Security Trustee report, which is going to give you an insight into where the Social Security money is going and the latest state of your Social Security income in terms of what you've paid into the system and what the government is doing with it. And then finally, stay till the end of this video because I have 5 options that President Trump is considering to fix Social Security this year. Republicans in Congress are actively discussing this. But this all got started when somebody forwarded me this article. It says government owes $2.7 trillion to Social Security. The author says that the government has embezzled all surplus Social Security revenue generated by the 1983 payroll tax hike and spent the money on wars and other government programs. And this looks like it came from somebody with a PhD, so sometimes we think that is credible. So I decided to look into it. Is this true that the government has stolen $2.7 trillion from Social Security? So if you're new here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, because all we do is bring you the latest news and updates about Social Security in and out of Congress and anything that will affect your benefits. So let's talk. So I started doing my research and looking at other articles online that have been published recently talking about this same issue. Here's the Motley Fool. Has Congress really stolen trillions from Social Security? They're talking about the truth. And then I went further and then I found this article from NASDAQ. It says, how much money has Congress taken from Social Security? So you can see a trend here. And then the Cato Institute published an article that says the Social Security Trust Fund myth. Social Security is a legal Ponzi scheme. The Social Security Trust Fund is figurative piggy bank that holds only IOUs issued by the Treasury and the Social Security Administration, not actual money. So now my interest is piqued because they are claiming that it is all phantom money and that the trust fund does not hold any money. It's just IOUs from the government. And so now I'm like, okay, let me go find out what the real truth is. And then you have AOL saying, just how worried should Social Security be right now? So now you're beginning to see that there's a lot of doom and gloom. And here's the hill. Isn't Social Security Trust Fund already broke? So you see a pattern. And then I went to the fact checkers. So Verify, which is a fact checking site, says no, Congress didn't take money from Social Security. And then I went to another verification site and it says, yes, the federal government borrows Social Security funds. So now I'm like, okay, what is the truth here? Then I saw an article from Fox Business. It says, no, Congress and illegals did not steal your Social Security, which is a common thread in a lot of the comments that I see on my posts, where people are saying that Congress is stealing Social Security benefits to fund wars and fund other programs that has nothing to do with Social Security. And then illegals are also benefiting from Social Security, are getting Social Security benefits that they did not pay into. So where is the truth? And then this is from CNN. No one is stealing your Social Security. And this one came from a guy who wrote this, and he is actually somebody that is advocating for Social Security. His name is Max Richman, is president and CEO of the nonprofit National Committee to Preserve Social Security and Medicare. So he is an ally, and he's writing this CNN article saying no one is stealing from Social Security. So where is the truth? So I dug in, and here's what I found. First, I want to tell you and show you my receipts. You can go to the Social Security website, socialsecurity.gov/policy, and you can see a whole bunch of reports that Social Security publishes every year, including the actual status of the Social Security Trust Fund. It tells you how much money is in the trust fund, where it's being invested, and all that. And there's an annual report required by the government for Social Security to have to show you where your money is, how much is in it, where it's been spent, or where it is being invested in. So this is all there. Go to socialsecurity.gov/policy. And then same applies to Medicare. The Medicare trustees release a report every year. You can go to cms.gov and find this report. So I'm just letting you know that there's transparency around this. You can go to Social Security, you can go to Medicare and see where your money is going currently. But let's talk about the details. So here's what I found. While $1,976 per month might seem modest, this represents the average payment to retirees in 2025. The amount is crucial for many retirees, often forming the backbone of their retirement income, and is adjusted for COLA. Now, Social Security's importance is that the program's significance is clearly demonstrated by its effects on poverty rates. In 2022 alone, Social Security lifted 22.7 million people out of poverty, including 16.5 million adults aged 65 and older. This highlights the program's critical role as a safety net for older Americans. Let's talk about the long term. The 23.2 trillion funding shortfall through 2098 represents a massive challenge. This figure represents $800 billion from the previous year's report, which is the trustees' report, showing the growing nature of the problem. This shortfall represents the difference between expected income and promised benefit over a 75-year period. Now, let's talk about the trust fund depletion that we've all been hearing about. The 2033 depletion date for the Old Age and Survivor Insurance Trust Fund, which is the main Social Security trust fund, is a critical milestone. While this doesn't mean bankruptcy, it will force a 21% reduction in benefits unless changes are made by Congress. This gives policymakers just 8 years to implement solutions. So let's talk about the congressional theft issue. Is Congress really stealing money from Social Security Trust Fund? Here is what I found. Many social media posts and public discussions blame Congress for stealing Social Security funds to pay for wars and other programs. This narrative has gained significant traction, particularly during the discussion about the program's financial challenges, despite lacking factual basis. So here I'm going to explain to you something that a lot of you may find surprising, but it's going to show you how the Social Security system was designed. Now, you may argue that the Social Security system, the way it's currently designed, needs to be changed. But let's talk about how the law currently works. So here's the legal framework. The Social Security Act of 1935 establishes strict rules about how excess funds must be handled. This isn't a recent policy or a choice made by current politicians. It's been the law since the program's inception since 1935. The requirement to invest in government bonds is a fundamental part of the program. And I'm going to show you a chart very shortly that tells you the interest that the government is making by investing the Social Security excess money into government bonds, because that is part of the revenue that comes into the Social Security pot. I'm going to explain that shortly. But this is a fact. It's been the law since inception. The requirement to invest in government bonds is a fundamental part of the Social Security program. So now let's talk about the current position. The $2.7 trillion in reserves as of December 2024 represents the actual accountable assets. This money isn't missing or stolen. It's invested in interest-bearing government securities, providing additional income for the program. Now, as I said, look, you can go into the comments. You can tell me what you think, whether this is the right way to do it or not. But the fact is that the law as it currently stands, it requires Social Security to invest the reserves in government bonds. And there's a special government bond that was designed specifically for Social Security. And I'll talk about that in a second. So the Social Security Administration maintains complete transparency by publishing monthly updates on trust fund balances and interest rates. The current 2.557 interest rate, that's the interest rate that the Social Security reserves are earning, in the government bonds generates significant additional income for the program. Now, you can say that is not a high enough interest rate. You can say that it's a low interest rate. You can say they shouldn't be investing the money. But the point is that this is the law. The Social Security Administration is required, the Treasury is required to invest Social Security reserves in government bonds to earn interest, and it currently generates significant additional income for the program, helping support benefit payments. So here's how to think about it. Just as a bank, if you put your money in CDs at a bank, the bank is not just going to keep the money and wait for you to come back and get it. They're going to invest it. So Social Security Trust Fund investment follows a similar principle. The money is put to work earning interest while maintaining security and accountability. Now let's talk about the investment requirements. How does this work? The special issue Treasury bonds used by the Social Security Administration are specifically designed for the program. They are backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government, making them one of the safest possible investment. This is not optional. This is required by law. And I said it is not a recent change. Since Social Security was established in 1935, this has been the law. They must invest the money in Treasury bonds. And there's a specific Treasury bond that was designed for Social Security, and that is where the money is put. So how can you track and make sure that the money hasn't disappeared? Well, every dollar invested is meticulously tracked and accounted for. The government maintains detailed records of all bonds purchased, their interest rates, and maturity dates. This system ensures complete transparency and accountability. Now, why is this important? Why should they be investing the money? The interest earned on these investments provide a crucial income for Social Security, along with payroll taxes and taxation on benefits. There are three sources of Social Security income. The first one, obviously, is payroll taxes. The second one is taxation of Social Security benefits. As you may have recently heard, President Trump is trying to eliminate taxes on Social Security benefits. Well, that is the second source of income for Social Security. The third source is interest on the reserves that have been invested in government bonds. So losing this income stream would actually accelerate the program's financial challenges. So if the government decides that if there's a new law that is passed and the government decides that they're not going to invest Social Security money in government bonds anymore, it's actually going to impact the Social Security Trust Fund because it's a significant source of the income. How significant is that? Well, I went to the Social Security website and looked at the latest information that I could find. So in 2021, I'm sure there's a more current one somewhere. I wanted to rush and present this today, so I'll find a more closer chart to 2024 and share it with you in my next video. But here it is. It tells you where Social Security gets its money from. So in 2021, Social Security brought in $1.9 trillion. 90% of that came from payroll taxes. The other 10%, 6.4%, came from interest from the reserves being invested in government treasury bonds. And then the other 3.5% came from taxation of Social Security benefits. So those who make enough money or get enough Social Security benefits or have enough combined income that they pay Social Security taxes or pay taxes on their Social Security benefits, that money collectively contributes 3.5% into the Social Security pot. And as you can see, Social Security is bringing in 1.909 trillion and spending 1.14 trillion. So there's a little bit of deficit in there. And 99% goes to benefit payments, and then 0.6% goes to administrative expenses, and then 0.4% goes to railroad retirement financial intercharge, whatever that means. But you can see 99% of all the contributions go towards benefit payments. So now let's talk about the reason why Social Security is in trouble. And then I will share with you the 5 proposals that President Trump is considering right now as the Republicans are deliberating on making changes to Social Security in 2025. There are 5 proposals on the table. Stay till the end of this video. I'm going to explain each of them in detail, and then you tell me which one you think the president should push for. But currently, the baby boomer impact is one of the biggest challenges to Social Security. The massive baby boomer generation retirement is dramatically changing the worker to beneficiary ratio. This isn't a temporary shift, but a fundamental demographic change that is straining the program's pay-as-you-go funding model. And pay-as-you-go funding means that people who are paying into the system now are funding retirees that are retiring now. And so when that ratio is off, especially when more people are retiring than people are paying into the system, then you have the crisis that we have now. The second reason Social Security is in trouble is the longevity factor. Americans are living longer, significantly longer than when Social Security began in the 1940s. The program wasn't designed to pay benefits for 20 to 30 years of retirement, but now people are realistically living that long. But increased life expectancy means that many recipients collect benefits for much longer, which is a good thing. It's just that the program wasn't designed to support that. The next one, which a lot of you may find very interesting, is that legal immigration or legal migration from 1998 to 2023 has serious implication because there's a decrease in legal migration, net migration. It means that immigrants typically are younger and spend many years contributing to Social Security. I'm talking about legal migrants. So I don't want you to go to the comments and come after me. I'm just giving you the facts about what is being paid and who is paying into the system. And so legal migrants are typically younger. They spend a lot of time contributing to Social Security payroll taxes, and the decline in this is also affecting Social Security. And then finally, the birth rate impact. Record low rates means that fewer future workers to support retirees. While this doesn't affect current funding, it will exacerbate the worker beneficiary ratio, and the problem is continuing to get worse. Now let's talk about income inequality. The current tax structure is also a problem. Previously, there were 2-tier systems of Social Security taxes. For 2025, if you made up to $176,000, you pay Social Security taxes. And then if you made $400,000 and above, you pay Social Security taxes on anything above $400,000. Well, Congress did away with the $400,000 and above cap. And so now we have a problem. So that in 2025, the cap of $176,100 means any earnings above this amount aren't subject to Social Security's 12.4% payroll tax. This cap increase annually with inflation, but doesn't address the underlying issue of income inequality. The fact that 94% of workers earn below the cap means that they pay into Social Security every dollar they earn. This creates a regressive effect where lower income workers pay a higher percentage of their total income into Social Security. However, the 6% of workers who earn above the cap have an increasing portion of their income exempted from Social Security taxes. So as income inequality grows, this becomes a more significant issue for funding Social Security. So over time, a larger share of national income has moved above the cap, effectively reducing Social Security tax base relative to wages. And if this trend continues, it's going to be a problem. So looking forward, what can we look forward to? Without legislative action, you're going to get a 21% cut in benefits by 2033. And while Congress hasn't stolen money from Social Security, lawmakers have been criticized for not addressing the known demographic challenges sooner. The longer the solution is delayed, the more difficult the income impact will become. And so now I want to jump to what we know. Congress has not stolen money from Social Security. The system is designed to invest the money in treasury bonds, and it's happening as is. And it's being invested according to what the law requires. Every dollar is tracked. You can go to the Social Security website and find out where the money is, what they invested in, what the interest rate is, when the maturity date is. And then as of December 2024, the 2.721 trillion in reserve represent actual accountable assets. It is not stolen money. It is not missing. It is invested in interest-bearing government securities, providing additional income for the program. So this article that I started with that says that the money are stolen is clearly not true. And there's things to refute that. The article talks about the fact that the money is taken and lent to other parts of the government, and that is not true. The Social Security Trust Fund does not hold U.S. Treasury securities, which represent money that was collected from federal taxes and then lent to other parts of the government. However, the article characterizes these Treasury securities as IOUs, or embezzled money, and is misleading. These are legitimate government obligations backed by the full faith of the United States government. The main difference is that they are special securities not traded on the open market. So the money, the securities that Social Security reserves are invested in, they are different from the regular Treasury bonds. They are bonds specifically designed for Social Security to be invested in. So you cannot invest in it, or you cannot go to the open market and buy from it. So now, as I said, you can go to the website, socialsecurity.gov/policy, and see everything that I'm talking about. So let's jump to the trustee report, which just came out for 2024. You can see it on the website, and it gives you access to everything that I've just talked about. It tells you where the money is invested, when the shortfall is going to happen, if that happens, what's going to happen to your benefits, etc., etc. So now let's get to the 5 options that are in front of President Trump right now to fix Social Security, since we know that come 2033, if nothing is done, there's going to be an automatic cut to Social Security. So let's get to what is in front of President Trump right now. So there are 5 proposals, and you have to tell me which one you think he should consider, because Republicans are actively discussing these options, and I want to bring them to you. So let's talk about the first one. The first proposal on the table is to increase the retirement age. Now, let me be clear about how this is an option. Basically, you have to either increase the money that is coming into the Social Security pot, or you have to slow down the amount of money that is being taken out of the pot. So the first proposal is to raise the retirement age. Current Republican proposals suggest raising the full retirement age from 67 to 69, similar to Reagan's previous increase from 65 to 67. The change will address a whopping 20 to 30% of the projected shortfall, making it a significant solution. Critics point out that many people in physical labor jobs cannot work into their late 60s, making this change particularly burdensome for certain workers. The proposal would disproportionately affect lower income workers who often have shorter life expectancies and physically demanding jobs. So that is proposal number 1. Let me know what you think. Proposal number 2 is to slow down the COLA increases. Now, I know a lot of you were unhappy with the 2.5% COLA for 2024 or 2025. And now there's suggestion to even slow it down even further. Because here's the truth. When your COLA or your Social Security is increased, that money still comes from the Social Security reserves or Social Security pot, the trust fund. And so what this is saying is that if you slow down Social Security increases, the annual increases, then you're slowing down how much money is coming from the pot, and so you are extending the life of the Social Security funds. This change would address approximately 29% of the long-term funding gap, making it more effective than raising the retirement age. Unlike other proposals, this will affect all beneficiaries, making it more equitable but potentially unpopular solution. The impact of reduced COLA compounds over time, potentially significantly reducing the purchasing power of long-term beneficiaries. The third solution is the payroll tax changes. Currently, Social Security is funded through 6.2% employee payment through their paycheck and 6.2% matching from the employer for a total of 12.4%. The proposal suggests incrementally raising the rate to 6.5% over a 6-year period, minimizing the immediate impact on workers. The solution is very, very popular. 85% of Republicans supported, 88% of Democrats supported, making it a politically viable solution. This change would affect all wage earners, spreading the burden across the entire workforce rather than targeting a specific group. That is change number 3. Proposal number 4, which I think is the most viable and probably the most sensible and fair solution, is that as of 2025, the Social Security taxes only apply to 176,100 of earned income. And as I explained previously, it disproportionately affects people in the lower income brackets who end up contributing a huge part of their income to Social Security. And then people who make above 176,100 don't have to pay anything to Social Security above that. And so the 6% of the population that make more than 176,100 end up keeping all the money above that, and they don't pay into the system, which is one of the reasons why the system is in trouble, because previously there was a 400,000 and above cap. Your first 176,100, you pay your Social Security taxes, and then anything above 400,000, you paid more taxes. Congress took away that. And now we have this problem. So this is trying to restore that 2-tier system back. Now, here's the thing. This will only affect 4% of the highest population of income earners, but it will extend the Social Security program solvency by 75 whopping years. The proposal also includes taxing investment income for over 200,000. And here's where some of the rich people, when they want to avoid Social Security taxes, will take their income from investment income. So capital gains tax, they'll pay the capital gains tax, and then they don't have to pay Social Security tax because it is not wages, it is investment income and it's capital gains. So that's another way to avoid paying Social Security taxes that is available to the wealthy. And this proposal is to catch that, is to make sure that regardless of where you're getting your income from, you're still going to pay Social Security taxes. But that is not what we have now. What we have now is a wage-only Social Security tax system where payroll taxes are where all the money comes from to pay, or majority, 90%, to pay Social Security taxes. So this is an example. If the 2-tier system is restored, here's what will happen. Somebody making $50,000, somebody making $50,000 will pay $3,100. If the cap is removed, they'll still pay $3,100. But somebody making $500,000 currently will only pay $10,453 based on last year's limit. But then if the cap is restored, then they will pay $31,000. So you can see the difference. Currently, somebody making $500,000 will only pay $10,000 and they're done, because their first $176,100 is all they have to pay their taxes on for Social Security, and they're done. If the cap is restored, then everything above $400,000 will then have to be paid or be eligible for Social Security taxes. So that's why people are suggesting that option number 4 makes the most sense. And then finally, means testing, which means that means testing will evaluate income levels to determine benefit eligibility, potentially reducing benefits for higher income retirees. This approach will reduce program shortfall by 11%, providing a significant but not complete solution. Polling shows a high approval rating from both Republicans and Democrats. 90% of Republicans, 94% of Democrats support this. And the proposal will primarily affect the top 20% of income earners, preserving the full benefits for majority of the recipients. So these are the 5 proposals in front of Republicans that they are considering right now as Social Security inches closely to a crisis level in 2033, where 21% of benefits will be cut automatically because the trust fund would have exhausted all its reserves, and now benefits will have to be cut. So you tell me in the comments what you think is the best proposal, And I did a whole section before about the fact that Congress is not stealing Social Security money. It's been invested in treasury bonds and earning interest, and is part of how Social Security is funded. 6% of the money comes from that. So let me know what you think about all that. As I said, I did the research. I am bringing you the information. You be the judge and tell me what you think. So I want to hear from you in the comment section below. And I'm going to continue to do daily lives to bring you a lot of information that is happening right now with the new government in place. President Trump has a lot of plans for Social Security, and there's things that are going to happen to food stamps, Medicare, Medicaid. I'm going to bring you all of this in my daily lives. So stay tuned. So thank you for hanging with me, and let me know in the comments. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. And until I see you in the next live, thank you for watching and staying with me.